everybody. Welcome to Plastic Profiles Community Spotlight. Today, with us is Drew and Dean from Action Unwind podcast on the YouTubes and the internets. Welcome, guys. Welcome. It's great to have you on. Yes, thank you for coming on. We've been big fans. We are big fans. And I was like, part of my the impetus, dictionary word, for starting this little segment of my channel is that I wanted to meet these people that are out here in the community doing things, toy photographers, other podcasts. We are generally G.I. Joe specific, but I like all kinds of stuff. So I know you guys dabble in all sorts of toys, and so I was like, I got to meet these guys. I got to see what makes them tick. And again, welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So we've got Drew on the left and Dean on the right. Right? Doctor. Yeah, we made that joke already. Very good, Chuckles. Good start.
Yeah. Right.
So you guys do the Action Unwind podcast. We'll get into what you're going on there, but I want to delve a little deeper. But instead of doing 20 questions for each of you, I'm going to assume you guys like the toys that we all kind of like. But I want to know how you met. How long have you guys been buds? What's the story?
Yeah, funny.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Very cool story.
What are we going on? 5-6 years?
About 5-6. Yeah, about 5-6 years.
And it started with what we do and love the most, and it's collecting. And I was on just cycling through Marketplace and saw a request for an old figure that I had, an Iron Man Mark
V, the suitcase Iron Man. I was looking to complete my Hall of Armor, and
old figure, and it was just I knew I had it sitting in a bin somewhere, and I just reached out and said, hey, I got this figure. And we met a few blocks away into a parking lot and talked for a few minutes, and told him what I was collecting. And at the time I was chasing
Professor X
I needed for my X-Men blue and red teams, or blue and gold team. And we left it at that. I got a call back from him like half an hour later saying, hey, I just picked up Professor X, let's meet back again. And that was it. Buddies ever since.
Twice in the same night. And it was very funny too. I remember it's hilarious. Sometimes you go to, exchange toys and stuff, and like there's a whole mix of different personalities and everything, right? And I literally remember my wife always jokes too, because she's just like, is this a bromance? Because like I went home and I was like, I got this figure from this dude, and I was like, he was a cool cat. Like I feel like we could get along good. And she's like, oh, there's maybe a bromance here. And then literally, like 45 minutes later, I'm going back out. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, I actually have a figure from from one of my buddies for that guy. She goes, yeah, this is a bromance secured for sure. And then, 5 years later, we are doing this podcast, and it's been a blast. It's been unstoppable. It's been a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's cool. Yeah, see, Facebook transactions in the United States go a little bit differently. Generally, it's like a drug deal. No one looks to make eye contact. No one, there's no exchanging of anything.
Yeah, it's
sometimes gunfire.
Similar up here too, where you meet them.
Where I need to check this.
Preferably cameras if available.
In a parking lot where there's lots of people, just in case. You don't know what's happening. Turns out just a couple of guys meeting up, but looking sketchy, trading in a parking lot. But when someone looks closer and they're just trading toys, it worked out.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Intriguing.
I was watching, going through some of your episodes, man, and you guys still have Toys R Us. Where you're at?
We just lost one.
Yeah, we just lost one in the city. We have 3 left.
Yeah, so we're in Winnipeg, up north. Here, Winnipeg, Manitoba. So that is home of the Jets, home of Chris Jericho, all that good stuff. And there it is. Hey, there it is.
So that's awesome, dude.
20 years, blood, sweat, and tears.
Great.
Mostly tears.
That's how we met. Working at Toys R Us over here.
Nice. So we had 4 in the city. There was an express one in a mall that came and went through like a season. I think it was around for Christmas time, just to get everyone shopping. And then there's 3 within about a 25-minute drive, and actually one just closed down recently. But I think it's just there's a whole bunch of wild stuff happening here. Like,
it hasn't really been the same since that initial. They're closing all of them, and then they were like, well, the U.S. ones are going to close, Canada's are going to stay open, and so I don't know if when they closed the ones in the U.S., all that stock came up north. But I'll be honest, like Toys R Us has not been the same since that. It's more or less, I'll be honest, kind of to be blunt, it kind of just feels like a bit of a push behind of a name that used to have credibility and have a lot of nostalgia. But it's like that one closed. Like for us, we're Canadian prices, right? But I mean, there's There's Marvel Legends that aren't deluxes that are going for like $44 Canadian up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, and just like talking about the Joes, Steve, like and James up here, Falcon has been warming the shelf at Toys R Us at $42.99. And you've seen the mug on Falcon. No one wants to pay $42.99 Canadian for that, right? So like there's just some sitting in the Tiger Ford Duke. That's been I think $82 or $84. And just warming show. There's dust on these things, and that's part of the reason why I think this one closed down is the prices. No one's paying it, and you know the other part to it is that you get collectors and guys, scalpers in the city who go and buy everything up, and then they put it on marketplace right away to sell it for a higher value, which I'm sure happens everywhere. But Toys R Us each Toys R Us put in a rule where you could only buy one figure each visit.
You can't army build or anything.
Wow.
To the point we have people in the toy communities and stuff where they've shared stories where they will have 3 separate changes of clothes in their car. Yeah. So they'll go in and
that's awesome.
What do you mean? This beard is real.
Major Blood Wave came out, like whatever that was, wave 1 or 2 or 3, whatever that was way back. Yeah. I went in because I had to get a Viper, Major Blood, and Firefly all at the same time, but I had to go in 3 different times just do the fake promotion watch.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
And then the other part too, that just before this one closed down, what they were doing is that because there was so much theft and the closed boxes, people putting like ketchup bottles back in and returning the box and putting it back on the shelf, whatever it was, they now had tickets. So you'd go to the shelf, you wouldn't see one toy in the shelf, wouldn't even be an empty box. It would just be like a ticket system. You'd go
or like a Xerox print, like it wasn't even in color. Sometimes it's like black and white.
They did that with some of the stuff. Like they would do that with some of the video games, when they came out and stuff like that, or like if it was like a large priced item, or a bulky item that would just have like the little ticket stub right there, and that's what you took to the register. They rung it up. Somebody ended up bringing it out to you. Make sure that they tried to keep the theft down.
The silver lining of it, though, which like our season 2 is gonna launch here in January of 2025, and we took some time off. I was finishing up some school. Nice. Dean and another baby, and so it was one of those things. We just needed some time to kind of balance some stuff out. And in that, the silver lining of the kind of the turbulence with Toys R Us was it opened up our eyes to a lot of different like independent toy sellers and stuff. And we've started making a lot of really good relationships with smaller stores who the prices are either the same or a little bit lower, but also the customer service is outstanding. And that's one thing that I miss. I miss the days of, we talk all the time about it on the show or when we're just unwinding ourselves about like going with our like parents when we were kids and like going to a staff and being like, hey, do you have this figure? And then being excited, like, oh yeah, we've got this one here. You just don't see that anymore. It's like, hey, do you have this figure? And they're like, well, did you check the toy aisle? It's like, of course I did. Like
I've been over there twice.
Or it's the employee that said, yeah, we got them, but 5 of them are in the back of my car because I'm gonna sell them before you put them on the shelf.
Yes. So it's been really nice to and those kind of smaller stores, they've been around for a while, but we were kind of blinded by the big stores and stuff. So it's been kind of some silver lining where, I mean, Toys R Us, it's not dead to us and stuff, but it's just it's changed, and that's fine. But it's opened up a new light to these other stores and stuff. And we mentioned a couple of them in season 2, which some relationships we've been making with them are just phenomenal. Like they're just very comforting, and it brings the excitement back into getting an email. Hey, we got this pre-order. You guys interested? It's like, yes,
That's cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That familiarity, with the people that you're going to go there constantly. Like I used to collect comic books, like really, really heavy into comic books, So my man Jeffrey was there at Stories, and he would call me up when we got the new Spider-Man, or a particular variant cover that I was looking, so he would always look out for me and say, hey, we got this in. I'll hold, and it's always great. You go in when you know somebody, and you feel good. Like, okay, good. I don't mind spending money here. Take more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll pay another $10 to someone who's if there's something wrong with the figure or maybe with the comic, I know that if I bring it back to them, say like, hey, like this is a bit off, they're going to be there for you to support that. That's another $10 that goes a long way. And I don't think those big companies realize that's as much about the relationship as it is the product. And, you know, like a lot of us, our generation seems to be kind of a similar bracket. That's kind of what we do nowadays, or that's why we do the things nowadays, because of that strength of kind of that relationship being a kid, you know, having a stranger be like, hey, yeah, I know they're down this aisle, let's go, you know, and that excitement. So it's nice to have that back.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So okay, so you've become Toy Bros, and so what brought on the podcast then? What made you go, we gotta start a band, but like with toys?
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I think it was just, you know, us, as Drew said, you know, just unwinding ourselves, sitting on the couch, just talking about this, and just wanted to do something different. There's so many great podcasts out there, and we didn't want to be kind of a unboxing podcast. There's so many great ones, and we didn't want to, like, you know, there's a space for that already, and there's people that are so great established. Stuff, we don't want to get that. It was just a place to get together, like him and I just shooting the breeze, talking about things we're excited about, bringing that excitement about, you know, each line that we're chasing. Or we have a couple of little you know, different segments that we do that are reoccurring throughout the season 1. And it was just about the excitement. And then I think one night you just said, like, we should just film this one night and see where this goes, just for fun. And that's what it started. It was just for fun, seeing what we could pull off, and seeing it was really just for us. And then we started getting steam, getting views, and people reaching out saying, wow, this is awesome. You guys do it again. We're like, that was just one person actually took the time to watch it. All right, let's do it again. That's all we needed. It was fun. So that's really,
and like we're very community driven, and so you'll see on a lot of our podcasts, you know, like to Dean's point, we're not here to review the figure. Like, we're gonna say some cool things we like, some things that we thought could be better and stuff like that. But it's like, we will, if I haven't had cable for like 9 years. YouTube is like my main video source on top of some streaming services. So it's like, when I come home and I unwind, I'll go to a couple different YouTube pages, and some of them are reviewers. So like, if they're already established and they do great reviews that I'm going to watch, we'll suggest those to the community. You know what I mean? It's we're very big driven on community building. And so, you know, we'll show a figure, we'll talk about some cool things, and then we'll like, you know what, you want to see more of this figure, go check out this page because they have a full detailed review, right? So for us, it's I think I had just got some new Joes, and we just threw on like the G.I. Joe movie because I hadn't seen it. And so that's where I think we just started talking. Like, we were like, what if we just made a podcast where it's like, you come home from work, or you get home, or you get a new figure in, you plunk us on, and we get to unwind with you, you unwind with us. And that's kind of where we get the whole Action Unwind from. So that's kind of our kind of our vision, is essentially like we want to unwind with you. So put us on when you're chilling in your man cave, your girl grotto, whatever it may be, collection room, whatever it is, and just,
we don't judge. All right.
Yeah. No, that's cool. You know, I gotta say, I was enjoying your figure quests. You know, I've seen a lot of people do those, but usually it's just one guy by himself, and I kind of feel like, should I be watching him do this? Like, he's all I felt weird, you know. But like, when it's two, I'm like, hey, we're just a group of guys hanging out, you know. Like,
I'm a part of this now. Like,
what's wild about that episode is that we had planned a couple GameStops, a couple local collectible spots, and the Toys R Us, and then just randomly we saw like a Boulevard sign for this toy show that was going on that we dipped into, and I think we both walked out of there. You had like 4 or 5 new Transformers. I hit like 6 classifieds that I was chasing for a long time that I hadn't found. And like, that was a fun time. It was just spur of the moment.
But spoiler alert for that episode, if you haven't watched yet, a big driving force of that was there was supposed to be a new Arby's open in the city.
That
was a big disappointment.
There's pros and cons there. I am a huge Arby's fan. And opening next week. It's officially opening, and we might just do a short on Arby's.
Just a short. Just let's see what season 2 brings. There might be a figure quest in season 2. All right, so
you guys can take it to Toys R Us. Just hit us in Arby's.
It sounds like Meat Quest to me. Huh?
100%.
But don't go searching that on Facebook. That's not a good idea.
No, don't search that.
All right. Well, that's cool. So let's see. Yeah. So have you had some snippets from season 1? Did you want to share some of those?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the rewind one's pretty fun. That kind of gives, I think, good expression of what the show's like. And like,
right.
Again, the big, like, we're not scripted, but like you'll see in the rewind, like there's just some times where it's like I'm drawing a blank. Like I don't know what to say or how I want to say it.
I'm well aware of that. For me.
Yeah.
Our intro.
I'm pretty sure the first episode took about 6.5 hours to record. Like, we were just,
and then what? Like the other day, we did about 4 episodes in a couple hours. So it's like
it feels dialed in now.
We're trying to, like we're still having fun with it, but it's like we didn't, it's funny. Like we'll do a setup and we'll take a picture and be like, the lighting worked really good for this episode. Let's take a picture so we can redo it again. Because there was definitely times where we'd set up for an episode and it would be like, oh, is it here or is it there? Or was it? Oh, I hate this thing.
He's just standing around like, no, I really like the lighting.
Yeah, for sure.
Move this whole thing that way. You guys can't see me at home, but this one setup we've moved like 12 times. So
exactly. Do you remember how many times it took us to start the first one?
I'm still waiting for this one to start.
All right, coming through.
Well,
Welcome to Action Unwind. I'm Drew. He's Dean. Today we are talking. You give him clever girl.
There you go. Don't point.
Okay. 3, 2, scene.
Can
you put on some Cher?
Oh no.
No matter how hard I try. Can I borrow your hand for a sec? I gotta go. Shooter!
Who has a doink without a ding?
You can't have it. Say that 10 times fast.
Wait, this is a family show. I'm gonna get some chili and sea bass. Let's try that again. No awkward pointing.
Stop yelling.
You guys, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to unwind with us next time, and keep your dings on the couch.
You know, we both just iron the sheet the whole season, and it gets more wrinkly.
We gotta go ahead.
If your hand makes its way into frame with that chickpea Cheeto and just slowly goes and then leaves into yours, we're going viral.
Is fish hooking you? All right.
Every time you go away.
From the top.
I have to cut all that. All of it. All right, let's go. Alrighty.
That's how I know you guys are in for big things. Is the Red Bull can turn to get that name brand out there? That's good. Start now.
So that's one thing we'll bring back and stuff. But I do Red Bull influencing, so they throw some stuff from time to time and whatnot too. So I like to kind of throw up a can just as a thank you for them and whatnot. But
nice.
Oh, very cool. All right, so that was season 1. So you ended with a flourish with the what was it? I wrote down the name. The Figure Madness. The 4 divisions facing off against each other.
Yeah, that came together. I'm a huge college basketball fan. The NCAA tournament, March Madness tournament, is one of my favorite sporting events to watch every year. And we were just sitting around talking about it. I said, how cool would this be? Or we both said, it'd be cool if we did this with figures. And it just kind of came together that way. And the funny part about it was, when you watch the selection show for the basketball, there's actual like rankings to like their records and how they're playing. We got our wives involved, and we just of the 4 categories, we took just 20 of each of our figures from that category, threw them on the couch, and just had them pick and say, hey, pick your first favorite, second favorite, all the way down to 16 for each bracket. Nice. And and then we just involved our followers in voting when we did the matchups. And I think Bret Hitman Hart took down the inaugural. He beat the Retro Storm Shadow, which you know, being Canadian, I think we're pretty happy. But that Retro Storm Shadow is oof. Yeah, it was a tough loss.
And it was funny because like I'm not into college basketball. So Dean was telling me about it. I'm like, this seems awesome. Like, this seems cool. And what was funny too is like our wives are very similar. They don't fully understand our enjoyment with the figures and stuff, but they support each other in not understanding. But they had no bias going into it. Like, there was prominent known figures that if we put them up on the camera right now, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's so and so. Their critiquing and their ability to pick figures was based on some of the funniest things. Poor Aunt May from the Spider-Man series just got chucked in the bin. Like, didn't stand a chance. It was a lot of her cardigan was the choice, but it was a very cool experience for us. The engagement was awesome on Instagram too. It was a lot of fun to see. There was some times where I was like, oh, this is easily the clear winner, and it'd be like a 49% vote, and we had some tiebreakers come up that we weren't prepared for. We figured everyone was just going to vote one way or another, but
I saw the Tomax and Zaymont versus Bazooka briefcase coin flip. That was good. That was good.
Nice. Yeah, we had to pull a couple audibles along the way, but it turned out
it was very cool.
Yeah, we ended up putting some swag together, some pretty cool figures, and there's actually a guy local here in the city that won, and we dropped off all the as
well, like $500 in figures that ended up coming in, and it was like we got a little Action Unwind belt, which it was kind of fitting.
Nice.
First round, so the figure actually has the belt, and it was pretty good. There's a lot of the fun I had with it was when you get into those final 5 and stuff, and then we're doing the figure photography where Hart's dishing out sharpshooters to Storm Shadow and all sorts of different things, right? So
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Little Easter egg for season 2 that along the backdrop of the shelves, you'll see that belt moving around in each episode. So keep an eye; it'll be moving around to see if you can find it through the year.
We might start doing some things too, like where was the belt on this figure at this episode, top comment and stuff like that. So
awesome. Well, so you said season 2 is starting in January. So what have you got in store for us for season 2? Can you give us any teases?
Yeah, for sure we can. Yeah, we're gonna drop a little snippet, a little teaser coming soon. But we're gonna probably go live January 7th with episode 1.
Okay.
And as Drew mentioned, in the time off, we took a legitimate like sitcom TV show break just with what was happening. Like, we were off for the summer, and came back. And as you mentioned, during the summer, we just kind of reevaluated our own collections based on what we were chasing, what was already full, what was just sitting in bins in the back, and we put that to good use of either, selling them some of the collection to, expanding some of the other avenues, or just, stuff that was sitting that we know other people would enjoy and getting them to their collections. So with doing that, like doing a lot of research, finding a lot of stuff, we talk about some independents. We got, a couple of really cool new lines that we're looking at. We're still chasing, some of the regular stuff, the classifieds, Transformers,
and classified. That's kind of our roots.
That'll never go away. Yeah, that'll never go away.
With the big thing too in that time off, like Dean had mentioned, was it's not for us where we're at right now. We're not. The big thing is we don't want to become reviewers. That's not that's not our drive for doing this. So I mean, we're not super concerned about being first to get the figure and first to get the pre-order and stuff. So we don't have figures coming in. Like, our figures are bought by us, and we kind of reflected like it's not sustainable without going broke for us to just buying literally hundreds of dollars of figures. So we were like, and we never really set out to be spending that much money and stuff like that. Like, it's about what we're unwinding with, right? And what are you unwinding with? So this season, we're really driving a lot more like the community tab, and like we want to see your collections. Like, we want to unwind with you, but you need to engage with us so we can see. Send it to us on Instagram, send it to us on the YouTube community channel. So we changed it up. We got a couple different like Dean had mentioned in the first season. We had Figure Victory, which is one of my favorites, where it's maybe you missed a pre-order, maybe it was out of stock, maybe you slept on it and now it's sold out. Now you have that figure. Maybe it's like, for me, the Jim Lee Cyclops blue and yellow suit from the Warlock That literally took me 6.5 years to get because I refused to spend like $250 on them. Finally get it, and about 4 months later,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, so that's like one of my favorite figure victories.
The one that I had that I shared in season 1 was the retro card back classified Storm Shadow. Yeah, this thing was out. I was searching high and low, checking every Walmart almost every day, and I just was driving home, I think from one of my kids' hockey practices, and I just stopped into a Walmart close by, and sure enough, like as you would think in most areas, the pegs are just empty, nothing around. The toy aisle is just a disaster. I get to the end of the aisle. And that shopping cart at the end that the employee that works at Walmart is like grabbing everything to kind of put back where it should be. Right. Just the cherry on top, sitting on top of that cart, retro shadow just peeking out, just calling my name, and I scooped it. And
I got this WhatsApp image, and it's just like boom, and I'm like, is that the return cart? Like it was right on the same level.
Did you get this feeling inside like me? I know I'm a big kid when it comes to things like that. So if I would have seen it. Like I would have been like, oh, and then you know what I'm saying. And then I would have been like, all right, be cool. All right? Like, you just go and get this very calmly, so nobody else reaches it for you. I did look across the register, like yes, let's go. Put it in
I did that a little bit to make sure no one was also running after it. Also, then to make sure that people were walking over to grab it out there and start running and screaming. And so
absolutely. And that's the thing is,
or I get like when I was in GameStop with my son. Because he likes to buy, Christmas gifts for his high school friends or whatever. They real cool. And I'm in there, man, and I see the classified retro Cobra Commander. And I haven't had him. And Cobra Commander is an iconic figure. That's one of the ones you have to have in your collection, in my opinion. And I stood there. I'm in the middle of this with my 17-year-old son. I'm like, oh, like what I'm saying? Like I just jumped, like, oh, cool. And I went and I needed to grab this thing, man. My son was looking at me like, all right. Calm down. He reaches for a Pokemon card. So,
but for season 2, like we're gonna bring back some of our favorite segments, and you guys probably know as well as us. You try some stuff in the first season, some stuff is just not felt out right, and people aren't really engaged with it, which is fine because we want it. We have some goals and stuff too, and one of our things is like it's our channel, not our channel. You know what I mean? It's community channel. And so if they're not really into it, then that's fine. Like then we will just stop doing it. We're not going to keep force feeding people, right? And with the new season, like we said, like we have our regular setup. We wanted to kind of change some things out, mid to our second episode in will be a little bit different for some regular viewers, and near the end of the season we have a couple surprises we can't share right now, but it's going to add another level of just kind of just some fun, man. Like we just like that's the big thing is starting to film this season compared to our last season. It was a lot of like 2 in the mornings, 1 in the mornings on a weeknight, and we both had work in the morning and being quiet because kiddos are sleeping and stuff. And it's this season we're a bit more, it's not that we're a bit more organized, it's just we kind of found ourselves in that first season, and that's kind of what we spent that time reflecting on and what worked, what didn't. And it's exciting. It's gonna be a really fun season for season 2.
Oh man, well said, man. Yeah. I like that. I like the whole, the acknowledgement of when you first start something, you do it for fun, like, all right, cool. But then you're kind of like treading water, also trying to find that groove. And then I don't know about you guys, but one day it was like for us, and we're still evolving. Everybody, we're still growing because there's things that we want to do. But one day we looked at it and we're like, man, we kind of got something cool here. Like, like we're the episodes going better, is because we will have, a certain thing that we talk about, a certain figure, but everything else is just us, we're just in it, we're involved. And I like that acknowledgement because it just, that beginning seems like a little tricky, like, damn, why are we doing this? And then, as you go and you open up to this whole community where it's just nothing but love, like, and you go out there and you just have fun with it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That's the fun part about it, as you just mentioned, just the community, right? Just reaching out, talking to people, just talking about things that we're all interested in doing. And this is what that's the fun for us about it. It's not.
It's this huge support.
Yeah,
it
is great, and I love the artistry, man. There's just so many different aspects of it, and I'm always thankful, to my buddy James, man, because he gave me a call one day because we always chatted, He gave me a call one day and said, "Hey, man, this is what I'm thinking. You in?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then going, start meeting people, getting introduced to different collections, and man, it's fantastic, man. I'm in love with this.
Yeah, it's fun to see it come together, because I think like just even going back, like we talked about this for a good year and a half, almost 2 years, even before we hit record in that first season, that first episode.
And that first episode, I think, sat for like 3.5-4 months.
Yeah. And just then, like, is this what we should do? And it came down to like not trying to just be like everybody else. It's just let's just do what we do normally and see what happens. And so far it's been it's been fun.
I think when it's sincere and genuine, I think that's a lot of things just flow better that way. And it definitely shows. Definitely shows.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
It's the word's gonna spread, and it's gonna hit, and we're gonna be looking up at you like, I remember when.
Well,
I kid, but you guys are very fun to watch. I enjoy your setup. I enjoy everything you're doing. So hey, things are gonna change. You're gonna try some things, do some things. I'm along for the ride. So you got me. I'm on board because I enjoy watching you. It's good times. So
awesome. Well, and I got to give you guys a shout out though too, because like for me, Joe's, that was a newer thing. Like I knew G.I. Joe for sure, but like for me, I had 2 older brothers, 7 years older, and so Transformers G1 was my life growing up. Though I was 7 years later, I grew up with them, and then Beast Wars and stuff, and we weren't really a G.I. Joe group of kids. And then when I met Dean and he got me into it, one of the first things he said, he's like, you got to check out this AgentChuckles and Steve the Writing Dad channel. They give you these profiles, you can learn all the characters and stuff too. So I got to say, man, like your channel, it helped me out a lot, kind of get up to speed as someone who was.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So it really helps, and that's the thing is, there's no other channels like, and I'm not trying to puff smoke, but there's no other channels like yours, and I like.
No, please bring it.
No, no one else does it. So please.
It's good to have that. It's good to have that ability to just be like, what is this figure? Or I'll send him a picture. I'll be like, who is this guy? I can't remember his name because I'm still terrible with names. But he's got like rockets all over himself.
Oh,
Metalhead.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And so it's like I can go on and look up and I'll be able to get a good backstory from you guys. So I just wanted to give some props where it was due.
Not you guys, and I'll be completely transparent about that. Is this guy, right? And I'm just along for the ride. I'm just like that. Yeah.
No one wants to see me talking to myself.
But that's the fun part of it, because that you got the expert, and then I just have fun with it, And
I always figured worst case scenario, I got one more Joe fan I'm bringing into the world here. I can at least teach Steve all about G.I. Joe, even if no one's watching. But I appreciate the kind words, and I see the Outback shirt you're wearing there. I see that.
Yes, I saw it. I was like, "Yo, he's repping Outback. I like it." Which is awesome.
I got a little low light here on the mug as well. I'd say G.I. Joe will always be the heart of what I've collected since I was a kid, and all the other stuff that's come along the way has been great as well. But I'll never get out of G.I. Joe.
That's wild, man. We talk about this constantly because he's a little bit older than me, so our collecting interests were a little bit different, right? So I did the G.I. Joes, the little small figures that came out, and then I was doing all over the turtles, that I did all of those, and when you grow up and like, man, I had this, I had that. Why didn't I keep these things? Like, oh man, it kills me every time I think about certain toys that I had or certain comics that I can't get too deep because that hurts my heart. Like,
Again, the silver lining that, Steve, too. I was actually just going through this the other day. Was like I said, G1 Transformers is a big thing for me, but like I grew up in the prime era of like Beast Wars too. Okay. And I actually about a week ago found an old Transformer, an old Beast Wars, and it was just like paint was flecked off, the joints wouldn't stay. I tried transforming it wouldn't hold together. But I mean, silver lining, man, it's like you probably wouldn't miss that figure as much if you didn't play with it so much. So it's kind of that double-edged sword. It's like, man, why is this figure falling apart? Or like an arm's missing. And it's like, well, because it probably got blown off in some combat thing, 8 or 9 or 10, or and so it's funny how those memories hit. You know what I mean? And that's kind of That's another thing we like to talk about on the show.
Sure, I was going to say that. Yeah, we like to do that. Like outside of just, as we said, we don't want to be just a toy reviewer or unboxing. It's just talking about this stuff. What are the ebbs and flows? What are like the trials and tribulations you go through as a collector, right? Like we've all been there where we, wish our parents hadn't sold our childhood collection, or sometimes some people got to trade or move stuff in a financial state, and then just because you're in a pinch, and then you try to bring them back, or just all these different things that we go through. Our wives shaking their heads at us while we're collecting, and
I know.
You'll drive across the city at 5 o'clock in rush hour just to go pick up a pre-order, but you don't want to make dinner, I guess. You don't.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Like listen, I'm committed. You don't understand my life, honey.
Rush, right? It's that rush of just getting that new figure in your hands, and so outside of just what we spoke about today, that's part of it as well. So
absolutely,
that's so cool, man. That is awesome.
Cool. Okay, so we got season 2 coming up. So when do you drop episodes? What's a good time to check out the new content?
So we're gonna be starting. I think first episode drops January 7th. They're gonna be Tuesdays at about 6 p.m. Central. Okay. We're Central time. And let us know, like, if that time doesn't work for you guys and doesn't work for the community, let us know. Throw a comment and hit us up on the community tab. Like if there's a day that works better for you guys, or maybe it's a Friday and you're like, I need this on a Friday with like a nice whatever beverage and stuff like that to unwind, you let us know. And so we're gonna do Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Sweet. All right, that sounds great. Well, thank you for being on the show, Drew and Dean. It was a pleasure getting to know you all. I'm super excited to see what season 2 holds. You said we got some surprises. I'm a little bummed you didn't share them here, but that's okay. That's okay. I can wait like everybody else.
That's so huge.
So I'm Agent Chuckles. With me is Steve the Writing Dad. This is Drew and Dean from Action Unwind. You can find them on Instagram. Where else? What else? Tell you go. Let's get from the horse's mouth. Where can we find you?
You're the mouth on the ass. Just add Action Unwind on all your socials. We are just primarily on Instagram and YouTube right now. So either the community tab on our YouTube or Instagram, we're monitoring hourly our Instagram. So you got a collection that you want to send us a picture about, or a figure, or a custom, or anything like that, you send us the message, and we'll be waiting for it for sure. So at Action Unwind.
Okay, very good. It's on you guys, fans. Get them out there, share it, spread it around, like, subscribe, follow, share. These are good dudes.
Click the button.
Let's go. Do it. So we're going to end there, and I think you've got a trailer for us. We're going to go out on that. So everybody, thank you for watching. Take care. Stay for this teaser for season 2.
3, 2, scene.
You ready?